Okay, just getting myself prepared for the week here, right? So Unit 5, Day 2, right? We're talking about more with arithmetic sequence formulas, okay? So in this one, we're just going to be kind of mixing it up and doing some different things. Just a little more practice, just to make sure you guys are okay. But as you can see, look, 4 examples, and then we're on the homework, and we're good, right? So not a very long video, I don't anticipate, right? So it's saying, list the first 4 terms of the following sequence, right? So here's what our sequence is. Now remember, these arithmetic sequences look very similar to our linear equations, right? So here's what we want. We want the first term, we want the second term, we want the third term, and we want the fourth term. Okay? And so, negative 2 times 1 minus 1, whoops, negative 2 times 2 minus 1, crap, I keep doing that. Negative 2 times 3 minus 1, and negative 2 times 4 minus 1. Okay, so this is going to be negative 3. This is going to be negative 5, negative 7, and negative 9. So as you can see, here's our input, right? This is our term in the sequence. So our first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and then those actual terms are our output from the equation here, okay? So here's our first 4 terms. I'm going to put them in a list. So negative 3, negative 5, negative 7, and negative 9. Okay? All right. So in this one, okay, the problem with this one is kind of like we encountered at the end of the last chapter is we don't have that first term here, right? So we have our 10th term. If we wanted to, we could count back, 9 times by 3 in order to get that first term, but that seems like kind of a lot. So we want the first term, right? Because if we're going to find, if we're going to find the first 4 terms, right, we need to have that formula, that equation, right? So a to the nth is equal to a to the first, right, our first term, plus our d value times n minus 1. And so we have this guy, right? We have our d value, but we don't have a minus 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 10 minus 1 is equal to 9, right? We want to go back 9 times, right, to get to our first term. And so 9 times 3 is equal to 27. And so 24 minus 27 will give me a negative 3. So our first term is negative 3. So a sub n is equal to negative 3 plus 3 times n minus 1. Okay? Still not done yet, though, because we want to find our first term, second term, third term, and fourth term. So a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4. All right, so negative 3 plus 3 times, 1 minus 1 will give me a 0, right? Okay. Negative 3 plus 3 times 1. Negative 3 plus 3 times 2, negative 3 plus 3 times 3. So this is going to be negative 3. This is going to be 0. This is going to be 3. This is going to be 6. So as you can see, we're going up by 3 each time. And so our list, negative 3, 0, 3, and 6. Okay. Find the nth term in the following arithmetic sequence algebraically and with the calculator. Okay? So here's how we're going to go about these ones. All right. So algebraically, right? So our second term is 18. Our 14th term, 66. Okay? So, we're going to look at our change in y over our change in x's, right? We need to find our slope. So think of it like this. 2 comma 18, 14 comma 66, right? Our second term is 18, and our first term our 14th term is 66. Okay, so we're going to go y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and 66 minus 18 gives me 48. Bottom gives me 12, which means we are going up by 4 each time. Okay, so that means in order to find our first term, I'm just going to subtract 4. And then finally, okay, find the nth term, right? So we're just trying to find a sub n. It's going to be equal to our first term plus what we're going up by each time, okay? And then again, using your calculator, right, you can use either two sets of points. You could either use this set of points, or you could use this set of points, okay? Plug them into list 1 and list 2, right? Follow my procedure, and then you would find that your answer would be 4n plus 10 is how it would look in your calculator. And again, it's always just this first one simplified, right? They just distribute that number and combine like terms, okay? All right, so the next piece, all right, we need to, same thing, all right? So our point is 7, 34, 18, 122. So we're going to go 122 minus 34 all over 18 minus 7. So 88, whoops, over 18 minus 7, it's going to be 11, right? And so our answer is just 8. So it's increasing by 8 each time, all right? So in order to find our first term, okay, we want to go back 6 times, right? So 7 minus 1 will be 6. So 6 times 8 is 48. And 34 minus 48 is equal to negative 14. So negative 14 is our first term. So a sub 1 is equal to negative 14. And so our equation, a sub n, is equal to negative 14 plus 8 times n minus 1. And then your calculator, again, following my trick, you would get 8n plus, oh, I'm sorry, plus minus 22. Okay. Example 3, how many terms are in the sequence? Okay, so we want to know what term we're ending on here. Okay, so in order to do so, we need to figure out, all right, what our sequence is first. So it looks like we're increasing by 6 each time. So let's start with writing our nth term here. So 18 plus 6 and minus 1. Now, we don't know what term 336 is, but we do know that this equation, right, if we knew the exact term 336 was, we would plug that in for n and get 336 for a sub n here, okay? But we don't know what term 336 is. So, we're just going to substitute this in here. And now, I'll distribute that 6, okay? Now we just need to solve for n, and that will give us what term, 336, this number falls in our sequence, right? Which term 336 is in terms of when we list this number, when we list this sequence out, okay? So we're going to combine like terms here on the right. Subtract 12. Divide by 6. N is equal to 54. So what that is saying is that our 54th term in our sequence is 336. Okay, and lastly, same process here. Okay, looks like we're going up by 5 each time. So I'm going to write out my equation. All right, so it's going to be first term plus 5 times n minus 1. And again, we don't know what n is, right? We're trying to find out where this guy falls in terms of our sequence here. Which term is this guy? This is our, in this case, our nth term. So we're just going to plug that in for this guy here. Okay, combine like terms. And solve. So this is going to be 85 is equal to 5n. Divide by 5. And n is equal to 17. Okay, so what that is saying is our 17th term in our sequence is 88. Okay, and so this is a much shorter lesson. Okay, only 1 page. So good luck, you guys. And hopefully that you guys are getting this, okay? And ask any questions you might have in class.